Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another podcast with Lion Den. We're here talking about COVID 19 and what we could do and how to flip the situation to our benefit and what we could do so we can, when the world changes, because I truly believe that after the COVID 19, the world is going to be in a lot of shambles. Because economics wise, I think the world's falling into that. And I feel like it's a time we can use it to change the benefit of black people. So, how could we use the situation to benefit us as a group of people? Is my first question because I truly don't know what we could use and what we could do in the situation to benefit us. So
Well, I personally think that since we've been quarantined, you could use this situation to figure out ourselves, to learn more about ourselves. This is not the first epidemic we've been through, and it's not going to be the last. We've been dealing with a virus worse than Corona for 400 years. This virus has killed more black people than any natural disaster on planet Earth. So, you could use this to find ourselves truly and understand our enemy from a better point of view and what's their mission, what they're up to. Because if this thing should play out the way it should play out, we're gonna be the one who suffer the most from this. But as I said, we've been dealing with a virus worse than this for 400 years.
I believe that during this lockdown, that if we, as a group of people, start to think differently and open our consciousness differently and look at the bigger picture of what could actually happen and the outcome, because you think about what are we providing, what do we have as a group of people. See, they have economics, army, etc., stuff like that. If it comes to time where they can easily snap back slavery, what do we have? Nothing. I don't think people understand the bigger picture or the bigger situation that what could happen because it's a possibility. Because we are not the people in power, or we don't have any representative in power.
Well, first of all, we gotta start learning how to love ourselves. Unity, strength, and right now, for 400 years, we have no love for ourselves. In fact, most of us do appear to be look like we're black, but we're not black. Our mind belongs to our enemy. So our thinking pattern is based upon self-destruction. So again, we could use this situation to figure out why we're so dysfunctional amongst each other. Without unity, you have no strength. We hate each other. We've been inflicted with self-hate. Again, you see, the European came and he brought his own version of Christianity. We still worship that version of Christianity. You go in the in the black church, you see a white Jesus on the wall. We don't want to deal with these truth. When we come together, one, two, three, four, five of us gather, it have to turn into something ugly. We can't be around each other for long. So this is a perfect time to figure out why we're so angry at each other. Because I believe is that we have misplaced anger. And until we learn how to love each other, love ourselves, raise healthy children, because most of these young men and women don't know how to be responsible in a society that oppresses them. So they become a
A
kind of
tool,
a
a
tool.
tool for the system.
Yeah, they become the assassin for the system. And they feel good about doing that. What kind of healthy people kill themselves and feel good about that? You're telling me that's not worse than Corona? You're telling me those gunmen that is killing their own black brother is not worse than Corona? Like, again, what do you think is worse than your enemy? Really and truly. What's worse than your enemy? To
Your own
me,
self hate.
well, a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
A traitor. A traitor is worse than your enemy. Because he looks like you and he's the one who's gonna tear you down. And we as a group of black people, we're full of sellout among us. We're so terrified of our own skin and our own body that we'll do anything to escape it. So how are we gonna free ourselves? How are we gonna come to an understanding of who we truly are?
Yeah, that first step always starts with understanding yourself and looking deep within yourself and trying to break the cycle within yourself. Because if you even look outside, like you can look at your other black brother and say, "Oh, why is he killing another black brother?" But the same reason why he's doing it is the same reason why you have self hate and the reason why you do negative things. And it's like we have to understand that deep within ourselves and actually be honest with ourselves.
But as I said, we gotta start to be hold accountable for our action. No group of people move forward unless they start to be accountable, hold themselves responsible for their action. Because you have always have collaborators who collaborate with the enemy, which is the worst kind. There's those who willing to sell out the whole village just for their own benefit, their own greed, their own personal agenda. Again, the state that we're in right now, Corona is the less of our problem. Is we're in a terrible state, and it's not looking good. We seem to think that when they're talking about helping the nation, we're included in all of that. Every society preys on the weakest member of the society. Again, we have lost our moral compass. We have lost everything that make us African. Don't lose your African mind, because the minute you lose your African mind, you're doomed. You have no logics in the way you see the world, because now you're seeing the world from a destruction point of view. As I said, 400 years of oppression, that's a worse virus than what's happening right now. If not billions of Africans have died since this plague, this parasite has invade the African space. You know, so we could use this to figure out what do we do, what's the next step. You know, we're lost. We're not in a good place, man. And most of us have short-term memories. We don't remember what happened to us. But that's because most of us don't know our history.
Yeah. It's like the rat in the cage. We have lost the ability to think, lost the ability to know ourselves, lost the ability to cope. Many things we have lost in this rat in the cage. But this time, during this lockdown, we can use it to our benefit to search deep down within ourselves because the problem always starts within yourself. As a nation and as a brotherhood, a sisterhood, we must look within ourselves to free ourselves because the future is not promised. There's no promised future for black people. There's no Jud's not biased, God's not biased. There's no promised future for black people in general.
Why should they be? Nature is not partial. You can't defend yourself and somebody's going to impose his will on you. That's just how life goes. The minute the Africans begin to give up their birthright and give up their sense of self and respect for themselves and being proud of being black, that's the minute their soul become captive in their enemy hands. You can't sit there and worshiping another man as God and think that he's not going to have power over you. Like again, why you still go to church? Why you still worshiping a God that is white? If you go to church and at least convert the God on the wall to be black to represent you, what kind of damage is it going to do to you when you look up, you're seeing this white man, the same man that invade your country, murder and rape and plunder your land.
You may not think that it's not doing any damage to you because it's the ignorant in it. You may not think, oh, I'm just look. It's you have to look at it at a deeper view. See, think you're being oppressed by someone who looks like your God. So you will not think to act upon that God. That image. You would not even think twice of double crossing that.
Well, most people don't even want to hear this because in order to listen to this, it's going to mean you have to reflect within yourself. You see, part of ignorance is to remain ignorant, is to not to look, is not to see. You could have eyes, but that doesn't mean you're seeing anything. You know, we have no self-worth. Most of us, we're dysfunctional. We have no self-value. We have no self-love. Those are dangerous kind of emotion. We look for outside of ourselves for validation from our enemy. Our main goal today is to, again, to prove to our enemy that we're someone, that we're important. So that's the main thing we live for, to show Mr. Whitey that look, we're
We're equal.
we equal.
We can be up there, but it's like you have to think that that's not what you really like. What you really want is to be free within yourself. But that's how damaged we are internally. But we can't really think that.
We're gods and kings of the earth, man. We're gods and the first man and woman to walk on the planet. We have so much information within our body, like billions of years of information, that we live accordingly with nature and with life. As I said, if we understand what's going on, this is not surprising, man. The beast will do anything to obtain power. He will wipe out his own self for power. If we're not going to willing to protect ourselves. See, Africa is in the state that is in anyways because of the leaders. African leaders are not African. They look African, but they are all puppet, most of them. They don't think for the people. In fact, I would go beyond African. In most black countries, the leaders don't represent the people. They're puppet. They don't love the people. When you love your people, you're going to prepare your people for the future. You're gonna give them tools that they can stand on their own when you're not there. You know, we're in a terrible spot. We're in a very sad.
Unhealthy
Well,
spot. I think like we have to use this time to reflect within ourselves, deeply reflect and look at our situation because people are not understanding that they will not let their children starve and feed us.
why would they do that?
That they wouldn't. We were the first on that list.
Would you do that?
Nope. I would definitely.
Well, that's what I mean. Like we're so busy, again, trying to prove our word that we're not securing ourselves for the disaster that is really to come. Because this is nothing. We've been living through worse than this, and anyone don't realize that it's blind to reality, man. Again, we need to practice self-love, self-worth, and all of that, and with self-respect, and create kids that who are pride in themselves and powerful, not damaged and broken children that can't stand up on their 2 feet. I call them the Jello children because there's nothing to hold them up, and that comes from parenting. If the parent is damaged, then they're gonna create damaged children.
Exactly.
Black woman and black man gotta find out their worth. You know,
So the cycle will continue.
the
We'll forever
cycle,
find our place.
the cycle is continuous.
Yes.
How you got those clowns killing each other in the wood, calling themselves gangster? He doesn't even own the hood. You know, everybody else have a neighborhood, but he have a hood.
It's a self hate.
Well, well,
You
well,
hate yourself, so you take it out on your own people.
well, he can't go shoot his master.
Mhm.
He's terrified of his master. He's a thug, but he's only a thug against the weak. Who's he shooting against? The weak. The weak. He's not going up against his real enemy who we really want to go up against. You know, he's going up against the weak because in every society, people pick on the weak, man. We just gotta start to learn how to love ourselves. Use this type of quarantine. Now we're close to each other, locked down in the house. Try to have a little bit of session amongst ourselves, figure out what's wrong with us. Because there's a lot, and we don't want to own up to that. Most of us are so shallow, we don't even want to look because there's not too far to look. So as I said, stay safe. This is another podcast of Lion Den. Stay safe and don't turn your light off. Keep that internal beacon shining because once you turn the light off, you're surrendering to the demon. This is a spiritual warfare going on. Get up each morning, strengthen your mind because they're creating a digital world and trying to murder the spiritual world. So wake up, spend time with your children, them. Learn about them. Find some form of a strength to give to them because they're gonna need it. This is the beast with the seven head. And now they unleash the Palos, the one who comes upon the Palos represent death. But as it said before, weep not, because one has prevailed, and in his hand there is a great chain, and he shall bound the demon and cast him back down. So keep your mind and your light powerful. We are people from the earth, and as I said, As Brother Imhotep is saying here, that we just gotta learn how to figure ourselves out. So, want to love my people, and don't lose your spiritualness of yourself. The beast shall never overcome. You will always get defeated in the end. So, keep that beacon light shining. One.